Let's go through a summary of the surah. So Surah Jathiyah is a Makki surah, 37 ayahs and 4 ruku. The name Jathiyah, the kneeling, comes from verse number 28, which mentions kneeling of all nations in horror on the Day of Judgment. And a brief synopsis of the surah is that the surah begins with a mention of Quran as a divine book. Then it mentions signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's power in various creations, in alternating of night and day, and in reviving of earth through rain. The surah warns of painful punishments for anyone who denies the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It establishes the principle that benefits and harms of an action return to the doer of that action. And the surah dispels the notion that righteous believers and sinful disbelievers will be treated equally in the hereafter. And it highlights the horror of reckoning for all nations on the Day of Judgment. And towards the end, it declares the blessings for believers and punishments for disbelievers in the hereafter. Let's go through some selected verses of the surah. So Quran is a divine book from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hamim. Tanzilul kitab min Allah al-Aziz al-Hakim. And people of intellect can recognize signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through natural phenomena and other worldly observations. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions many of them in this verse. وَاخْتِلَافِ اللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ وَمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ مِنْ رِزْقٍ فَأَحْيَا بِهِ الْأَرْضَ بَعْدَ مَوْتِهَا وَتَصْرِيفِ الرِّيَاحِ آيَاتٌ لِقَوْمٍ يَعْقِلُونَ. For those people who have intellect, even though they may not be believers, but they could look around them, and through all these signs, they should be able to recognize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whoever is not guided by Quran, then there is no hope for him to be guided at all by any other means. فَبِأَيِّ حَدِيثٍ بَعْدَ اللَّهِ وَآيَاتِهِ يُؤْمِنُونَ. If a person cannot accept the message of Quran, cannot see that this is a divine book, cannot really comprehend the commands that are given into it, cannot really recognize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the message of Quran, then there is no other message that could come to this person and give him enlightenment and iman. Warning of severe punishment for lying, excessive sinning, and ridiculing the verses of Quran is mentioned. وَإِذَا عَلِمَ مِنْ آيَاتِنَا شَيْئًا اتَّخَذَهَا هُزُوًا أُولَٰئِكَ لَهُمْ عَذَابٌ مُهِينٌ. For them is severe punishment. Neither children, wealth, and prestige, nor false gods and idols can protect disbelievers in the hereafter. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَا يُغْنِي عَنْهُمْ مَا كَسَبُوا شَيْئًا وَلَا مَا اتَّخَذُوا مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ أَوْلِيَاءَ. So nothing that they took as idols, except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or objects of worship could protect them, and neither could their sons and wealth and prestige and honor in this world could help them at all in the hereafter. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put many of His creations in service to humans to take advantage and seek provision. And this is a fazl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on Bani Adam. Allahu alladhi sakhara lakum al-bahra litajri al-fulku fihi bi-amrihi wa litabtaghu min fadlihi wa la'allakum tashkurun wa sakhara lakum ma fi as-samawati wa ma fi al-ardi jami'an minhum inna fi dhalika la ayatin liqawmin yatafakkarun. Disbelievers will face punishment in the hereafter, even if they are forgiven by believers in this world. So as much as believers are asked to show forbearance with disbelievers on their ignorance, rest assured that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take account of them in the hereafter. قُلْ لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا يَغْفِرُوا لِلَّذِينَ لَا يَرْجُونَ أَيَّامَ اللَّهِ لِيَجْزِيَ قَوْمًا بِمَا كَانُوا يَكْسِبُونَ. Everyone is accountable for their own actions. مَنْ عَمِلَ صَالِحًا فَلِنَفْسِهِ وَمَنْ أَسَاءَ فَعَلَيْهَا. So no one can protect each other or give their sins to someone else to make them accountable for their own actions in the hereafter. Bani Israel was superior to other nations at their time, and this comes in many places in the Quran, but we should understand that Ummah of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is superior to nations of all times. وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا بَنِي إِسْرَائِيلَ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحُكْمَ وَالنُّبُوَّةَ وَرَزَقْنَاهُم مِّنَ الطَّيِّبَاتِ وَفَضَّلْنَاهُمْ عَلَى الْعَالَمِينَ. And jealousy was the primary reason of the people of the book to reject the prophethood of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. فَمَا اخْتَلَفُوا إِلَّا مِن بَعْدِ مَا جَاءَهُمُ الْعِلْمُ بَغْيًا بَيْنَهُمْ, for the jealousy among themselves. It is incumbent upon all to follow the sharia of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in all matters. Since the revelation came to Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and the new sharia was given to him, that's the only sharia that is acceptable in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. ثُمَّ جَعَلْنَاكَ عَلَى شَرِيعَةٍ مِّنَ الْأَمْرِ فَاتَّبِعْهَا, so you should follow it. Warning against following one's desires without any consideration of lawful and unlawful acts is given in this surah. أَفَرَأَيْتَ مَنِ اتَّخَذَ إِلَهَهُ هَوَاهُ أَضَلَّهُ اللَّهُ عَلَى عِلْمٍ. So even though you have the knowledge and understanding of what is right, what is wrong, you don't care about it. You're just following the wishes and whims of your own nafs, and they're severing warning against it. To consider life and death as mere natural processes that you see many people around you, especially the atheists, consider without a creator that all this happened on its own is a mistake and delusion. وَقَالُوا مَا هِيَ إِلَّا حَيَاتُنَا الدُّنْيَا نَمُوتُ وَنَحْيَا مَا يُهْلِكُنَا إِلَّا الدَّهْرُ مَا لَهُمْ بِذَلِكَ مِنْ عِلْمٍ إِنْهُمْ إِلَّا يَظُنُّونَ. So to consider that everything happened on its own without a creator is actually a misguided understanding. It is prohibited to curse time. Since Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the true source of all events, people have the habit of saying, I hate Monday mornings, but Monday morning is also something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created. So it's time. So we should not be cursing time. And there's nothing wrong in describing a difficult moment that you had. So this year was hard on me because of such and such event. That's okay. But it's not okay to curse a particular time or curse the time that you were born, let's say for a father who was upset with his son, etc. So all those matters which are sometimes just common conversation should be avoided. It is disliked and prohibited to curse time since it is Allah's creation. All nations will be in the kneeling position due to the horrors of the Day of Judgment, and that's what the surah is named after. وَتَرَى كُلَّ أُمَّةٍ جَاثِيَةً كُلُّ أُمَّةٍ تُدْعَى إِلَى كِتَابِهَا الْيَوْمَ تُجْزَوْنَ مَا كُنْتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ. And everyone will be given their book, and they will be rewarded based on what they had done. No pardon or apology will be accepted on the Day of Judgment. فَالْيَوْمَ لَا يَخْرُجُونَ مِنْهَا وَلَا هُمْ يُسْتَعْتَبُونَ. And finally, all glory and majesty belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَلِلَّهِ الْحَمْدُ رَبِّ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَرَبِّ الْأَرْضِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ وَلَهُ الْكِبْرِيَاءُ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَهُوَ الْعَزِيزُ الْحَكِيمُ. رَبَّنَا تَقَبَّلْ مِنَّا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ وَتُبْ عَلَيْنَا إِنَّكَ أنت التواب الرحيم.